All right, so today is day 2 of variables and order of operations. Again, a variable is just a letter that replaces an unknown number. And so we're going to find these unknown numbers today. One thing that's different, yesterday I gave you the answer on one of the sides. Today there's equations on both sides, so we have to solve that. So I always start with the side without the variable. And so on this particular one, I'm going to look at 3 times 2 to the second power. With that being said, we follow PEMDAS. I have an exponent here, and I have a multiplication sign. PEMDAS says to do the exponent first. So 2 to the second power is really 2 times 2, which is 4. So our problem on this side is really 3 times 4. And remember, that dot means multiplication. And I don't want to put the x in there dealing with variables because x looks like another variable we have to solve. So we're going to keep going with this side. 3 times 4, that's our last operation. 3 times 4 is 12. So our answer to the right side is just 12. So now we have to look at the left side. And so what do I have? Well, right here, I have a variable. And so I like to write what because I don't know what that is. So I have what plus something. Well, what is that something? Well, that something is 3 plus 3. It is in parentheses. PEMDAS says I have to do that first. 3 plus 3 is 6. And that is my problem. So what plus 6 has to equal 12? That's what it has to equal. So if I have something and I'm adding 6 to it and it has to equal 12, what does that something have to be? Well, I know most of you all know that without doing any math. You know what goes in that box. You know what plus 6 is 12. But if you didn't know, you take your bottom number and of the sum of your addition problem and you subtract one of the add-ins. So I can find it by doing 12 minus 6, which is 6. So 6 plus 6 is 12. So my what is going to be 6. Now, some of you all will skip a step. You'll just say that n equals 6. That's not the case. The case is this 9 minus n has to equal 6. Well, in that case, what we have is 9 minus what equals 6. And again, most of you all know what goes in there already, but if you don't, on a subtraction problem, if you're missing the bottom number, what you do is you take your top number and you subtract out your difference. So 9 minus 6 is 3. So our box is 3, which means our n is going to be 3 for this problem. Now, a lot of you all just go ahead and put your answer down and don't check it. You have to check it to make sure that you didn't screw something up. By checking it, I mean plug it in. So I'm going to plug instead of n here, I'm going to put 3. And I'm going to solve that problem. 9 minus 3 is 6, plus 3 plus 3 is 6. Well, what's 6 plus 6? 6 plus 6 is 12. So it will work. So our answer for this one is n equals 3. For our second one here, we have 4 to the second power plus parentheses of 8 plus 1, all in brackets, equals n squared. So again, this is going to be our what because that's our variable. So I'm going to solve the other side first. I have a parenthesis, which means I have to do it first. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 4 squared, and this is still going to be in brackets. At this point, I have an exponent and I have a plus sign. PEMDAS over here tells us we have to do our exponent before addition. So 4 squared is really 4 times 4, which is 16. So our new problem is 16 plus 9. And then 16 plus 9 is 25. So our answer is going to be 25. That's our left side. All right. So now we can go over to this right side, which is our what. What equals 25? Well, we have a square. So something times itself has to equal 25, because that's what a square is. It's something times itself equals 25. Well, what number times itself has to equal 25? And I know we worked on this the other day. This is the same thing as the square root of 25. What times itself is 25? Well, it's 5 times 5 is 25. So our n has to equal 5. Now you can check this one, but all it would be, oh, we'll check it. What's 5 squared? 5 squared is 5 times 5, which is 25. That was kind of an easy one. So let's move on to our last problem today. This one's kind of tough. Again, I'm looking at the right side this time because it doesn't have the variable in it. So I'm going to solve it first. And looking at it, I have a pair of parentheses. I have to do it first per PEMDAS. So 3 times 2 is 6 plus 6 squared in brackets. Now, at this point in PEMDAS, I have to do my bracket, but inside the bracket, I have my exponent and I have an addition sign. Again, the exponent comes before addition if you look at PEMDAS. So 6 squared is really 6 times 6, which is 36. So I'm going to put my bracket. I'm going to change this to 36 plus 6, bracket. All I have left is my addition. So I'm just going to do 36 plus 6, which is 42. And I'm finished with my right side. So on my left side, basically what I have right now is a big what equals 42. Well, this one's a little bit different, and here's why. I have a division sign and I have a multiplication sign. Now, normally what I have to do is look at PEMDAS, and it says multiplication and division left to right. So since this is my first sign, I have to do my division first, and I have to do my multiplication second. But on this one, I can't do my division first because I don't know what my n is. So this all becomes my what. So what I have right now, if you look at this, I have what times 7 equals 42. Now, a lot of you all already know what that what is. Some of you all don't. When you're missing one of your factors, which is what the what is, a factor of multiplication, to find that, you take your product, which is your answer to the multiplication problem, and you divide it by your factor that you know, and it will tell you you're missing one. Well, how many times does 7 go into 42? The answer is 6. And so our what is 6. 6 times 7 is 42. Now, again, some of you all just throw that 6 into as the n, but that is not the correct thing. What the 6 is the answer to n divided by 6. Well, what do you mean, Mr. Drake? Well, we have n divided by 6, and our answer is 6. So how do we find what n is? How do we find the missing dividend in a division problem? Well, we take our answer, the quotient, and we take it times our divisor, and it'll tell us our quotient. It'll tell us our dividend. So we're going to do 6 times 6, which is 36. So our n equals 36. All right, well, let's check it. We have to do 36 divided by 6 first. 36 divided by 6, we just said was 6. So this is now 6 at the top. So now we do 6 times 7, which is 42. And look at that, 42 equals 42. All right, so today you all have some work to do. I have a Google form for you. And I also put in your instructions. If you miss some of these on your Google form, you need to get on your Google Meet with me and we need to walk through them. You're not going to figure them out if you just submit it, get it wrong, and don't do anything about it. We have a CFA coming up next week, and I want you to figure it out before we get to the CFA. All right, good luck.